Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands,
one nation, under God,
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome, everybody. Roll call.
Mrs. Lingo?
Here.
Mr. Parsons?
Here.
Mr. Redding?
Here.
Mrs. Dosa?
Here.
Mr. George?
Here.
Mr. Young?
Here.
Mrs. Rissel?
Next, we have the minutes from the September 16th council meeting. You guys want to take a look at that if you haven't already. If there's any corrections or additions, let us know. Look okay? Make a motion?
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes as printed.
Mr. Young made a motion to accept the minutes, second by Mrs. Russell. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Correspondence. Only thing we have, I think everybody has one, is the plant trees and the police report, I think. And the city manager report. Does anybody else have any other correspondence? Joe?
Just one point of clarification on the police report. The homicide that occurred at Lake of the Woods Apartments, it was not in the complex itself, it was out in front of it.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Joe. Anything else? Guest and special events. We have Liz Peak, President of Regional Mobility Group, Metro's Bus Rapid Transit Update. If you'd like to come up to the podium, state your name and address, please. I need a public input today.
Hi there. My name is Sharon Lacombe. Liz Peak is our public engagement person who set this meeting up for us.
Oh, okay.
So I am Sharon Lacombe, and I am with Metro. I'm the Senior Director for Bus Rapid Transit at Metro. And our address is 525 Vine Street, Cincinnati, Ohio. And I keep it 45202. Great. So we wanted to come and address the council today and give you an update on the Bus Rapid Transit project. It is moving along very well, and we've received a lot of great input from citizens throughout the county, and we are advancing the project through its design phase at the current time. So with that, I will give you a brief presentation. Go ahead.
So if you just tell me when you want to advance.
When I want to click, okay, go ahead, on to the next one. So I'll start with what Bus Rapid Transit is and talk a little bit about what it is not. So Bus Rapid Transit is very similar to a light rail, where we can increase the capacity of the number of passengers that we can carry within one vehicle, so that we're not having to pay for additional drivers and have additional vehicles on each city street. It also uses a technology that works with the signal systems that are in place to help expedite green traffic lights through certain areas. Now, I say that in smaller business districts like Mount Healthy here, there's not a lot of time difference between the lights anyway. So one of the things that our traffic engineers will look at is how to maximize the system that speaks to the bus and the bus system that speaks to the lights themselves. But that is part of what makes the Metro Rapid rapid. It is not rapid in terms of we will never go faster than the speed limit. We would be very happy to get up to the speed limit. If you've ever been stuck behind a bus in a right-hand lane, you know that we are not making the speed limit, and neither are you if you're behind us. The advantage of bus rapid transit is you want to be in that lane next to us because we're going to be tripping those lights green. So all the way from here to downtown, if you time it right, you'll be riding right alongside a bus that is turning the lights to green. That's the advanced technology piece. The other part that's important is once a project like this is put in place, developers recognize and redevelopers recognize that it is a permanent physical station as opposed to a bus stop that we can just put a sign out and move at any point in time. And so that really sends a signal to the developer, hopefully working with the community and the city to identify if there's any additional services or additional housing that they would want to put near the transit station. And so it really can be an economic driver. If not, there are tools that we can tell you about that some cities have put in place to help with neighborhood preservation. So it kind of goes both ways. But we want a vital community. You have a lovely walkable area here, and we certainly want to make sure that you continue to have the lovely downtown that you have now with bus rapid transit. Next slide. So we have two corridors that we're advancing at the same time. However, we're going to implement them staged at about 6 months between each other. The blue line is the first to go, and that is the Reading corridor. And that would start all the way downtown on 2nd Street in between the two stadiums at the banks, and then go up the pairs of Vine and Walnut, Main and Walnut. It's been a really long day. And then we're going to come over through Findlay Market area, up the Vine Street Hill to the University of Cincinnati area. The Reading Road alignment would go off to the right there on MLK, up Burnett past the hospitals, over on Forest to Reading Road, and then all the way out to Roselawn. The Hamilton side, when we get to University of Cincinnati, we would take a left and go through the Ludlow Clifton Business District over to Ludlow up by Cincinnati State, and then through the communities of Northside, College Hill, North College Hill, and eventually end of line here in Mount Healthy. Next slide. So we've developed some station renderings and taken these out to public meetings. We've also gotten some input on our website about the different stations and their design. And there's different geographies, if you will, and different sizes and scales of these stations. So the configurations are unique also in many different places. And here in Mount Healthy, for example, we'll be operating in mixed traffic. So you would not have the big red bus lane that's shown in the top two. And down at the bottom rendering is the neighborhood business district station. We made that canopy area, the top part, smaller. It's about 25 feet in length. We can make that, we can double it and make it 50 feet, or we can make it 75 feet. And those are the bottom one is 25 feet. The one on the top left at Avondale Town Center, that one is shown at 75 feet. But we haven't made that final decision, and we would love to continue to get input and work with you all on that best scale for your community. Next slide. Most importantly, all of the stations will be universally accessible. So we are receiving federal dollars, so we're required to make sure that we are compliant with the American with Disabilities Act, as well as the new PROAG guidelines, which require additional devices for hearing impaired and visually impaired. And so with each station, you can go on to the next slide. With each station, we're going to have them connected. Now, your station in Mount Healthy would not be in the center. This is a center image, closer to like downtown or the university area where the street is much wider. But here, we would still have, the most important thing is pedestrian safety. And I mentioned those signals, the smart signals, and the call from the bus that turns that light green. The first thing it does is check with the signal to see if it's in a pedestrian phase. If it's in a pedestrian phase, it will wait for the pedestrian phase to complete. Then it'll look for any police or fire, because they're going to be more important than anyone else. And then it would look for the bus rapid transit. So it is a very smart system. So you'll have increased pedestrian crossings in areas where the station will be located. And then you'll have signage, connectivity, those ADA ramps that I talked about, and just an easy, seamless path. The stations will be well lit. They've been designed with the City of Cincinnati Police Department for crime prevention through environmental design, for zero lines of interference, so that you can see the people that are at the station. And we will have ticketing at the station location as well, and onboard or on-time travel information displays, so that when someone comes, they can just walk out, know when the next bus is coming, and hop on. Next slide. Now, we are in a federal process. It is a competitive grant process across across the entire United States, and we therefore have to do all of the things that the federal government asks to do if they're going to hand out federal dollars. And part of that is going through the public engagement, but also doing the traffic analysis, looking at if there are impacts there, and environmental impacts. The good news is that there are very few environmental impacts, because we're going to be in an existing street already. So we don't have wetlands, for example. We're not buying property outside of small areas where we may need to widen a sidewalk or widen the backside of the curb to retain a sidewalk. So in most places, or in all places, there will be no residential acquisitions. There will be no business displacements or acquisitions either. Traffic, because we are looking at each of the intersections from one end of the corridor to the other, we are working with the respective cities about those intersections, and if there are signal timing improvements that we can make to make it better for everyone. So overall, the traffic impacts in some cases are going to be better, and in some cases they're going to remain about the same. We have 3 or 4 places that are not in Mount Healthy where the traffic is not good now. It's not going to be good with BRT, and we're working with those jurisdictions to see if there's improvements that can be made. Next slide. So far, the input that we've got is on the name, Metro Rapid, the station look and feel, the locations, the names, where the travel lanes should and should not be. I mentioned here you would not have the travel lanes that would be in mixed traffic. And then input, we've had a lot of people comment about, well, how are you going to keep us informed during construction, and when is this going to happen? So input on what we can share on the website. Next slide. And then here are, now we have had a couple of meetings already in Mount Healthy, one, and I should let, this is Paul Durham. He's our lead engineer for the Hamilton corridor. And he has been, I was not able to attend the Mount Healthy meeting. I think Scott Enns was here instead of myself. And these are the locations that have been discussed and are currently on our plans. Are there any modifications that we should be aware of? I know we just talked about a streetscape project that is potentially coming. And that is, of course, something that we can work in concert with the city to make sure that the projects are both aligned with the same goals. And I believe that is my last slide. Oh, the end of the line. Yes. So the end of the line is at Hilltop Plaza. And this is an area where we currently lease some property for park and ride. And so what we mean by end of line, it's the last spot that it goes to. We will come up, the BRT vehicles will pull over, and then make a full loop back out onto the streets in their respective directions. Oh, I do have more slides in here. So in summary, project benefits, we're going to have more frequent service. The service will be every 10 minutes from 6 a.m. until 11 p.m. The trip time will be reduced by at least 25% over what it takes today. Right now, it takes over an hour in the afternoon peak to get to downtown Cincinnati. That trip will be closer to 45 minutes with the signal timing improvements that we talked about. We hope maybe we can shave that even down a little further, get it closer to 35. More green time, universally accessible stations, improved pedestrian and bike connections, a reduction in vehicle miles traveled. And then I talked about from an impact, very minor acquisitions. Most of that is corners to make sure that the ADA ramps are done correctly and any of that back of sidewalk that I mentioned. We're also looking at in where we have to have the station. If there is a street tree there, then we're going to need to have that space and relocate that tree. We're happy to relocate that to the choice that you would like it to be placed. And then in some places, there will be removal of on-street parking. We're working now to minimize that as much as possible. The buses are about 3 to 4 car lengths long for the space that we would need to come in and pull and then come back out. So that's one on each side of the street, a maximum of 8 parking spaces, pretty minor. And then down in Cincinnati, we have one minor acquisition from Season Good Square Park. All right, next slide. Here are the traffic impacts under the existing conditions, and we also have this on boards further down here. You'll notice we use red, yellow, green as, good, kind of bad, and bad. And then the travel times shown there of different places that you can go to, what it is right now. And then on the next slide, we have what it will be like in the future. And then final slide, I believe, is when this will all be done. So we are looking at continuing our final design in 2026, starting construction in 2027, and beginning operations in 2028. Now, Reading, I said, would be about 6 months ahead, and we're looking at that one opening in mid-2028, whereas Hamilton would be at the end of 2028. Sounds like far off, but if you have kids, you know it's not. They'll be graduated. Gone, right?
Right. Does anybody have questions?
Yeah.
I do.
Yes, ma'am.
Are you still going to have the regular 17 or 7 Hills? That's still going to go all the way up to 7 Hills? It just won't be
We
the
are.
rapid? Okay.
Exactly. We will have underlying service. It won't be as frequent as it is right now. We'll cut that back some, but because we know we serve other areas. We also, when we get further into the final design of the project, we'll do a new operating plan, not just for bus rapid transit, but for adjacent routes. And it may be, it may work that we need a route instead of going all the way from downtown all the way out.
Right.
We make it in half of of that, whatever's most effective.
'Cause I used to ride the 17 downtown. Sometimes I'd go over North Bend and through North College Hill and back to Hamilton Avenue. So I just wasn't sure if you're still going to have.
Yes, we will still have the service to the same areas.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Similar question, the 17 that goes over Compton Road to Coleraine and Northgate, will that come all the way from downtown and still go out that way?
It still will, yes,
In addition to these every 10-minute rapid ones?
in addition to the every 10 minutes. Not as frequent. The local service will be reduced some so that we can provide the faster service on the BRT itself.
That would be better than having just a 17 start at Compton and go, and maybe have the people get off there and transfer?
Yeah, that's called a forced transfer. That is something that might be, more feasible. It depends. We'll have to do some surveys to find out where people are going to and from. And if we find that most of the trips are happening, on that north end of the corridor, then we would definitely look at, truncating and using the BRT as that. But there'll be, all of the routes that are we call them underlying route service to the bus rapid transit do have these little jogs here and there. So what we don't want to do is cut off all of that service because we have people that we're serving in those areas right now.
But some of the Metro now could pick up some of that maybe.
Absolutely. That's the plan.
Question for Scott. Is the library concerned with people parking in their lot and hopping on the bus, making the library lot a park and ride?
I'm sure it's a concern. It's not something we've conversed with them about yet, but
Have to put up signs and say library parking only, or
Sure.
if they're going to have a park and ride up at Hilltop Plaza, that would be much easier to park up there.
right, yeah,
Okay.
makes sense.
Thank you.
Mr. Redding?
Absolutely.
A question for you, and not so much a question for Scott, maybe a statement, but the light control, the stoplight control boxes and all that, those will need to be updated and upgraded, correct?
The technology that we are investigating does not require the existing signal boxes to be modified. We'll have to see if the equipment is the same equipment that it can coordinate with. But there are two vendors that we're looking at right now. One would require getting into each box and making modifications, but that's more physically intrusive. It's also harder in the long run if there's another change that needs to be made. There's the newer systems that are out are completely based on the cloud and have appropriate security provisions for a cloud-based traffic command network. And you don't have to enter into the box at all.
Okay, great. And I'm not familiar with whether ours are or are not, so.
Yep.
But I
We
would-
have specialists who work in just that area on our design team, and we definitely can bring them and talk with the city, find out what you have in your boxes and make sure that it's compatible. The city of Cincinnati has very old signal equipment as well, and they were concerned that we would not be compatible or they would have to upgrade their boxes. And we found out that that is not the case, that this system can work with the existing box that is there. And Metro will not control traffic operations. The city of Cincinnati, in their jurisdiction, will control theirs. Whoever controls yours will continue to do so. We would just ask that we have that right to have the signal priority for transit
Yes, so
by
you'd like.
providing that.
You'd have like an override.
Yes,
or as you're going through.
right.
So, and then the statement for Scott is, we don't have that currently for our fire department and police department, correct?
Right.
Yeah.
So that would something we'd probably want to upgrade at that point too, whatever we have to do, whether technology-wise, so,
Right.
okay.
And there are differences in the systems. Fortunately, the one, or the few vendors that we have talked to that are cloud-based, it is compatible also with the city of Cincinnati's fire and police vehicles. So it just depends on, there's a system called a CAD AVL that gets put on each vehicle, and that's what does the communication. And so from what I understand from the vendor, there's not an additional cost for that, which is nice. In the old school, you used to have to buy a transponder for each vehicle, and they were like $1,500 a vehicle. But this system, you don't have to do that.
And if there was any cost, that would be picked up by the grant, I'm assuming?
It would.
Okay.
Yes.
Great. Thank you.
Any other questions?
One more. As far as the fare, will it be one price from begin to end, or?
It will,
Doesn't
yes.
depend
We're
how
not
far
going
you
to do a
ride.
distance-based fare. It'll be a flat fare, the same as our existing fixed route, which currently is $2.20.
So if you ride 6 blocks or 9 miles?
Right.
pay two and a quarter, okay.
And we have a new system. If you haven't heard about our new system, it's kind of hard to explain. It's called fare capping. It's $2.20. If you ride again, say you go to work, you pay $2.20. You come home, you pay $2.20 again. You're at $4.40. That's your cap for the day. And then once you've met your cap, you can ride the rest of the day for free.
Wow.
Max per day.
And then if you use our pass, it's $88 a month. Once again, same type of thing. It hits it every single day, and then when you get to $88, you don't have to pay any more for the rest of the month. And that helps. There are some people who $88 a month is hard to take out of a paycheck to get, and so that helps the people who, you know, just want to kind of pay as they go. Yeah.
Anything else? Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. We appreciate the time to come and share the information about the project. And anytime you have questions, just give us a call, reach out either to myself, our design team, Troy Miller, our government relations team. We're happy to help. Thank you.
Thank you,
again.
thank you very much.
Thank you very much, yep.
All righty. There's a lot of people here. Okay, this is the part where we have a public input. Is there anybody that would like to speak to council? Come on up. Name and address, please, even though we know you.
Anybody identify?
Yes.
Okay.
Looking all over for it.
All right, Dwight Weesey, 1421 Elizabeth Street, St. Clair Avenue. Elizabeth Street is on my mind because Tecan Farms, the Tree Commission is partnering with them for the planting of our Perry Street trees here that we got all the soil remediation done underneath the grant this past spring. And we're going to be doing that here in November 8th. I put flyers out for everybody there. I have some extra if people want to have them posted around. I'll offer them out. We invite you to come do it. We are looking for volunteers to sign up to be part of that planting. We have the trees designated, and we're going to be working with Scott to make sure we get the checks cut to get the trees so we have them in place ready to go. That's the first event. That's the furthest one out. We've got 2 other events going on here in the next week. This coming Saturday, as part of our Year of the Pawpaw with North College Hill, we're doing planting of little tiny pawpaw trees right here at Heritage Park. This Saturday, that's from 10 to whenever we get done. But I have 20 going in my yard, ready to go plant. We'll see if we have anybody else show up, because we offered out the trees this spring to be fostered, because we wanted to give it to those folks who may not have the opportunity to actually plant in their yard. We offered it up to them that they could permanently adopt those trees, but if they want to just stick with the fostering, they can bring them so we get them planted here this Saturday. That's 2 of the events. The third one is this coming Monday. I'm not too sure if it's going to be our last one, but again, part of the Pawpaw Book Club that we've been doing with Year of the Pawpaw. We have a special speaker coming in, Susan Von Haar from the Cincinnati Permaculture Institute, and she'll be sharing about how to do permacultures here, either in our parks even, and that's something that I know North College Hill has been doing a lot on, so we'll be investigating that further. No word yet back on our grant submission. I'm actually not expecting that until the next month or so, since it's not going to start until the start of 2026. Questions?
Thank you.
Thank you, Dwight.
I do have one other. One of our long-term members, Karen Arnett, has decided to step down from the Tree Commission. So if you do happen to run into her, thank her very much for her commitment. She was part of the founding of the Tree Commission and has done a lot over the years. You know, we made the comment, a few months ago about like there's over 200 trees that are younger than, that have a diameter that's less than 10 inches. There, a lot of those were planted by efforts by her and others of the early years of the Tree Commission. So there is a lot that she has done for the city and the Tree Commission, and we really will miss her as being part of it, but she's ready to move on to other things.
Thank you.
Thank you.
She was. Okay, anybody else would like to speak to council? No. Okay. We get these, Come on. State your name and address, please.
Good evening. I'm Devin Bell. Honestly, I've never been to one of these before, and I seen it when one was happening last month, so I decided to come. I honestly just have a couple concerns and questions, and hopefully I can get some feedback and leave with a little clarity today. So I have a restaurant here on Compton. I'm not sure if you roll past it, but it's called Bell's Grab and Go, right next to Take a Shot Bar over here in the plaza. And we opened March 22nd of this year. Business has been going great, no problems. Recently it came to my attention that, okay, rewind just a little bit. My hours of operation are 5 p.m. to 11 p.m. Tuesday through Thursday. And Friday and Saturday, I do stay open until 3:30 a.m. So it's been brought 4 a.m. I take my last order at 3:30 a.m. It's been brought to my attention that Mount Healthy have an ordinance, I want to say 21/1968, to where no businesses can be open in Mount Healthy between the hours of 2:30 and 5:30. I didn't know, what businesses are categorized under that ordinance, but that's what I really wanted to ask. We never, like I said, we never had any problems, any police calls. I'm selling nothing but food, no liquor, no wine, no beer, just food. So, yeah.
It'd be best to meet with the police chief. I mean, he's the one that's enforcing it. We passed it beginning of this year. Is it this year that we passed it, or was it last year? This year. Be happy to sit with you with the police chief just to walk through it, but it'll detail out who's eligible, and I believe the out is if you have a police officer.
Security or a police?
Yeah, a police officer that will provide security.
But
while
it
you're
does
open.
has to be a police officer.
Yeah, it can't just be a private security firm. It's got to be a peace officer.
So do Mount Healthy offer police details for something like? So usually if a rule is being enforced, I will get information on how I can not only follow but help. Help. So if I decide to stay open past 2:30, I just feel like when I was given that information, I should also have been given information that, or, excuse me, Mr. Bill, you can't stay open between after 2:30. But if you do want to, here are your options. You can get a police detail. You can get and so forth. So just more information would have been super helpful. So I guess I'll.
And the chief can walk you through that. We do offer police details. I mean, it's not guaranteed that an officer would
Pick it up.
So
Right.
I mean, they do football games,
Yeah, okay.
pick up homecoming, a lot of
Right.
stuff with the schools, obviously, things like that. So
All
it'd
right.
be good to reach out to the chief. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, if y'all hungry on y'all lunch break, come see me.
Thank you for coming up.
Good luck to you.
Yes,
Good luck. What was the name of his business?
Bill's Grab and Go.
Should have got that information.
Okay. There's no more public input. We'll go to the mayor's report. Are you going to be handling that?
She's out of town.
Yes, let's see that she's out of town. Okay, city manager's report.
All right, let's see. So I'll leave the fire department, Captain Peace here, police department. I just want to let everyone know we did hire or promote our third sergeant, Detective Ben Jones. Excited for him to start that new position. He'll start field training next week. He'll be assigned to another one of our sergeants and kind of shadow and be coached by them. And then I'm sure it'll be a few weeks that he's on FTO, but then he'll start full-time on his own after that. So excited for that. I've got updates for just a lot of the road work. There's not really any big changes here. I just kind of filled in the contractors, any of the timelines. I don't know that there's really any big updates there. Clovernook Avenue, Justin and his crew are still planning to get out there this week. It's weather permitting. If there's rain, obviously they can't throw the new asphalt down, but they'll use that new tailgate that they purchased. So excited for that. Again, check out Heritage Park. They've pretty much cleared out everything. I know I've got a few volunteers that are kind of reaching certain corners and areas that the Bobcat couldn't get to, but looks a whole lot better. It's a lot safer to walk through. A lot of the houses can actually see the pond now.
I was
Yeah.
amazed at all the land. Didn't realize it was there.
Yeah, as Justin, well, I guess it was Mike that was running it. As he worked through it, we asked each resident, do you want us to cut this all the way back to the fence? Are you sure you want to be able to see the highway? And people reached out to us that they wanted it all cleared out, and everyone seems to be super happy about it. So every resident, signed on for having everything cleared out. Looks great. Building inspections, I'll kind of leave this to Captain Peace. I've got Hilltop mentioned on here. But I'll just mention, again, Gordon is, we talked about these business licenses. That's basically our certificate of occupancy. We're still requiring every new business to reach out and get approved by a building and zoning department. He's still working hard at that. Let's see, facade improvement. Aquatics is complete. The Underground Railroad building is complete. And I don't know if anyone noticed, Brotherton's actually has the first coat of sage green on it. They think it'll be completed this Friday or Saturday. Again, it's kind of contingent on the weather, but it's already looking a whole lot better. I met with the awning vendor today. I don't know how long it'll take to get those produced and installed, but we're pretty close to getting those ordered, and those will get installed on, I believe, 5 different businesses in town. So excited for that change. I've got a new part here, facade improvement, the next phase. So basically, we've put applications out there. Again, I've announced this before. If anyone knows any business in town that's maybe interested, they can reach out to me. Front desk has applications. If they're interested in fresh paint, shutters, doors, anything like that, pretty much. Masonry work, we'd be happy to work with them. So November 30th is when we like applications in. We've got $250,000 at the moment in grant funding, with the potential for another $100,000. So we'll see if hopefully we'll hear back from the county in the next month or so. Let's see. While I'm talking about facade, I wanted to mention the theater. So currently we have a photography studio renting out the one side of the main theater. Had an issue with, it's a great tenant, great business, but we've had an issue with, I don't know if it was a rock or, it looks to me like someone just picked up a brick and threw it out the window, unfortunately, but the window's cracked. Got a quote from Hilltop Glass, and they can replace it, but they're afraid when they take the glass apart, when they put it back together, it'll kind of become destabilized because of the rotting wood, just issues with the structure. So kind of stuck with what we have. I just want to kind of throw out there that my plans to put together a proposal to apply for the facade grant, that maybe we can at least redo that side of the storefront. Since it's on the historical registry, kind of have some more hoops you have to jump through, but I think there's definitely potential that we could get some facade dollars for that project. Let's see, met with another vendor for the antique mall today. I have high hopes for this guy, but I had high hopes for the last guy. Still working on building up that wall. He's been a couple times to look at it and met with the engineers who surveyed it. So it seems like he knows what he's doing, and hopefully we'll have a quote from him this week. Let's see, added another section here for streetscape improvements, as Metro was mentioning. Right now we have 4 projects listed here. There's no money committed or anything like that, but just kind of wanted to let you know what I'm kind of reaching out to JMA and working with Metro and the library on. There's a few different intersections here. Just looking for bump outs, going to get quotes, kind of see what kind of makes sense to make traffic flow better and easier pedestrian access. The first one's that gateway right between the lakes, looking at upgrading the fencing and removing a lot of the old trees. Still working with Lake of the Woods to try to make that happen, but hopefully this Friday, I have a meeting with Lake of the Woods to discuss Maple Avenue and that new fencing. Find my drink here. Let's see, I've got a few other items. Let's see, I wanted to mention the school district. Man. So when they formed the Fiscal Emergency Commission. The mayor had an appointment, and she made me the appointment, so I've been attending each of the monthly meetings. Wanted to kind of give them credit, because the last meeting, 2 meetings ago, they officially approved a plan. Well, the plan is what the state requires them to say, you know, here's all the, they call them revenue enhancements and expense reductions. So they finally have a plan where the current year is no longer negative. So they're planning to finish this school year in the positive, and next year and the following. So 3 years in a row in the positive. Just wanted to say that it's been a long road for them, been tough. They had to make a lot of staffing changes, had a lot of issues, turnover, that kind of stuff. So just happy we're through that, and then put my city manager cap back on. It obviously makes it much more stable for us to know who to contact, deal with all the, you know, there's new security, there's new superintendent. So we're excited to work with them, and kind of turn the page on it. I'll just mention the budget, almost through it with the first draft. I'll throw Justin, Public Works, under the bus here. He's the last one, just waiting on him, and then I'll get a draft to you guys, and just kind of maybe first the 2 meetings in November, maybe plan on having budget meetings.
I plan to the 4th of November.
Yeah, is it
whatever
4th,
it is, that
4th
first-
and 18th, something like that.
Yeah,
We can.
yeah, the 4th, we would talk about changes, and then the 18th, we'd look at the final thing, and then
Gotcha.
bring it in December.
Gotcha. Okay. Yep. I've got one other item, but I'm going to wait for new business to let my throat rest here. I don't know what my deal is, so, but that is my report.
Any questions for Scott?
Just one, the facade improvement applications, does the business have to be in the central business district?
That's what's going to get the most points. Ken 66 applied. I feel like they're pretty much a lock. I mean, Compton's pretty main too, but Hamilton is what we're going to focus on. But I'd encourage everyone to apply. I mean, last round we had about 150,000. This one we have 250, so it's a lot more dollars available. You know, just kind of it really depends on how many applications we get. I mean, if there's not that many, you know, encourage you to apply if you have any facade, you know, paint, windows, anything like that. That you don't own the building, right? Yeah, but you could work with the landlord, see if he's interested, and I mean, signage is another big one if you want to upgrade your signage. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Fire department report. Steve's not here.
Good evening. Scott's passing out 2 different packets for you. Sorry for the information overload. Kind of the last second I was thrusted into this position. Steve's not feeling well, so I hope he feels better. One packet is fire runs. The other packet is EMS runs. On the fire runs packet, don't be fooled by where it says EMS 15%. That is not combined fire and EMS. That is strictly talking about when we make an EMS detail from a fire vehicle. To give an example of when that might happen, say our life squad goes out and transports to the hospital, and I'm left here by myself. If we get another run in the city, we'll call mutual aid in, which require, you know, say North College Hill will send an ambulance. I'll then first respond in a pickup truck and provide care and aid until they get there. So that's how you get EMS runs on fire reports. So just for that. Sometimes we even get called into neighboring communities for EMS assistance from a fire truck. So top page of each of these is the year-to-date total of runs, and then moving on, I included September and August's numbers individually as well. So yeah, right now we're sitting at a combined total of fire and EMS details at 1,874. These numbers are to the best of my ability of pulling them right now. We are behind on a few reports getting entered from a few people. So these numbers will increase a little bit, but not by much. Moving on, we've been dealing with some issues with Hilltop Plaza involving life safety issues. We're trying to get the owners of Hilltop to cooperate and communicate with us, and they've gone radio silence. They live down in Florida, so I don't think we're exactly at the top of the priority list. Currently working with Gordon, working with Scott, working with Scott Solomon, Chief Lawson. We're all working together. It's just taking time, taking a lot of time. Have a lot of infractions recorded. Our biggest issue is that we've not been able to make it into every single one of the tenant spaces at Hilltop Plaza, even though we've asked them and informed them that we're required to. Again, met with silence. We've also got some big issues with the sprinkler system where the old Kroger's was that we're all trying to work through right now. So it's just slow moving, but we're making progress though. We're definitely further along than we were. So my two fellow captains both gave birth to, or their wives gave birth to a healthy baby girl each. So I congratulate them on that, and please come back to work soon. To update everybody, we have 4 of our current full-time employees that are in medic school. Jaden Mudd is due to graduate in February. Jacob Adams is due to graduate in June. Steven Sosa, somewhere in between there. He replied back to me, I just haven't read it yet, because I just got back from an EMS run. And Michael Horton just started class just a few weeks ago, so we'll see him graduate a year from now. That's quite the daunting task, and medic school was definitely not an easy go. Let's talk about grants. So we recently received money to purchase a video laryngoscope, and what that is if we are in a situation on an EMS run where we have to place a breathing tube. A lot of times something that can make it easier is a tool that has a camera onto it, which as we insert the tube, it helps us see what's going on. Problem is those price tag on those things are quite pricey. Thankfully, Jacob Adams was able to secure some money. We received $1,000 from Rumpke and $2,200 from Duke. We're only about $2,000 short on being able to buy 2 of them, one for each of our responding ambulances. He's currently working on securing the rest of those funds. So that's exciting. And the most exciting one of all, we have finally heard from FEMA that we are being awarded the Assistance to Firefighters grant. So what the government's going to be providing to us, I rounded these numbers, is going to be $942,400. And the city is going to be on the hook for 5% of what we asked for, which means city is going to be providing $47,100, giving us a grand total of $989,560. So, very exciting. I'm sure all of you share with me the weight lifted off the chest for that one. We're currently meeting with 3 different vendors to secure our 3 different bids right now. We've gotten bids in from 2. We're waiting on a 3rd. We've talked to Sutphin, we've talked to E1, and another company by the name of Spencer. So that's all I have written down on my notepad.
Very good news.
Any questions?
I have a question. Back to the businesses that you weren't able to go into. What are the means of what you can do at this point? If you can't get in to do the walkthroughs for those businesses and they're not cooperating, what's your next steps?
I'm waiting for Scott Solomon to tell me that. It's not that I'm waiting. We're getting to that point. So I've taken on Hilltop myself. So Hilltop is my sole responsibility. And I try to go up there maybe once a shift and try to drive around and see if I can see anybody that might be operating in one of the businesses that I haven't been able to get to, and then I throw it in park and go knock on the door, or just open the door and walk in. We have a few bigger items to handle right now that are more important than some of the ones that we haven't got into yet. So we're trying to put out the fires that we can see. We're getting to that point of where we can find a way to get our way in there, because per the Ohio Fire Code, I have the right to enter and inspect a business. It's just getting into the business is the tough part.
Thank you.
Question.
Mr. Redding.
So it sounds like on the north side of Hilltop Plaza, we've got that pretty well looked at, or?
I don't have the map in front of me right now, but I would say we're probably about 75%. I've been in 75% of the north side of the complex,
Okay.
and probably about closer to 50 to 60% on the south side.
And then, so what's the process with anything that's electrical? What, I know you got to contact IBI, but how does that work?
So, out of the pile of electrical issues that is occurring up there, I called IBI and I brought them to the worst one. And I asked them to come in and take a look and do a survey. They've completed the survey, forwarded it to us. I've attached pictures for each of the violations that I'm handing over to the Scotts for them to discuss. We're having a meeting on Thursday to go deeper on that. But right now, I've only involved IBI on one, and that's the currently the new rinks on the north side that's in the old Kroger's.
Okay.
There's two rinks. I don't know if anybody realizes this. There's two rinks up there. There's the rinks on the north complex, and there's a rinks on the south complex.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Thank you.
Anything else? Thank you very much. We don't have any second readings for ordinance or resolutions, or a first reading for an ordinance, but we do have a first reading for a resolution. It's resolution number 25-1236. A resolution accepting the amounts and rates as determined by the Budget Commission and authorizing the necessary tax levies and certifying them to the county auditor.
So this is one we do every year. If you turn to the second page, you'll see the numbers. That's what the county is budgeting that they will collect for us next year. Numbers look in line. Again, this is what we do every year. They have their own budget commission meeting. They had that, I don't know, a couple weeks ago, maybe something like that. And they approve these numbers, and then just part of the process is we confirm them, we approve them, say they look reasonable, and then that's what kind of allows them to collect come next year. So.
This is what we are telling them, or they're telling us?
They're telling us, and then we're agreeing to it.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
When's this due?
Yeah.
23rd of October.
End of October?
So this, is
We could do 2 readings.
that what everybody wants to do, the 2 readings?
First reading?
I know, I meant, do you want to do 2 readings?
Yes.
Yes, okay. All right, so. Is there any questions on this? All right. Next. Old business.
See, I'll kind of finish my report here in old business. I was going to bring up Maple Avenue before my voice gave out there. So I have at least gotten one quote. I've reached out to 4 different fencing companies. I'm going to get as many quotes as I can just to see what it would cost to put a fence up. And we still have to formally decide if that's what we want to do. But just so you know, kind of what I'm getting is there's 2 houses at the end. One already has kind of a wood plank fence. So I have a quote that would finish off her wood plank fence, kind of keep it the same style she already has, take it to the road. And on the other side, it's kind of it's like chicken coop wiring that he has as his fence. Just take chain link in his front yard, and then we would have a chain link fence with, I'm pretty sure it's a double opening gate that it could be locked. We could open it if we need emergency access. I mean, it's looking like that's going to be between $5,000 and $10,000 total. I mean, I think we would split it with appropriate residents. So I mean, it's not like it's overly expensive. Our portion would probably be about $2,000 to $3,000 ish. Again, kind of waiting for all the quotes to come in, but have to formally decide if that's what we want to do. But that's kind of at least the ballpark numbers that we're looking at. That was all I had.
Any questions?
Oh, sorry, and I mentioned I had a meeting Friday with Lake of the Woods. So one of it is to talk about the kind of the facade improvement, streetscape improvement, getting them to upgrade their fence. We do have some streetscape grant dollars left that we can maybe assist them in doing that, or doing our own side. We can kind of decide how we want to spend those dollars. But I'll talk to them about that, and also this Maple Avenue, just kind of get their opinion on blocking that off, trying to be good neighbors about it. That's kind of a big change to the traffic pattern. And I think we'd also have to cut down some of the honeysuckle that's growing there, but I'll have that meeting on Friday with Fath Properties rep.
Mr. Redding?
Just under old business, we talked about having a potential safety meeting down at Clover Nook Apartments in their community center. I spoke with Tiffany Scott yesterday, and she has to take it up the chain to her management to see if we can do that. And so that's currently in process. Once I get a date, if we get a date, then and I'll let everybody know. And then also, we're looking at the progress that's been made on the fire procedures and policies and job descriptions and all that from the fire assessment. We're looking at getting an update here later in October. We just want to align that meeting with when all the captains are on. So still working on that date, but likely to have one later in October, just to let you know I haven't forgotten about them, and we continue to work on that, so.
Okay, thank you. Any questions for Joe? Any other old business? New business?
I was just gonna put on record that we're gonna have another Christmas and Mount Healthy meeting, and that's going to be on the 21st at 6 p.m. in Chambers. And then also the following week on the 28th, we're going to have a Park Commission meeting at 6 p.m. in Chambers. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any other new business?
I make a motion to adjourn.
Mrs. Dosen made a motion to adjourn. Second by Mr., excuse me. I'm sorry.
It's everybody today.
It's this weather, it's terrible. Okay, George, I get it now. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting is adjourned.